Hey guys, Dr. Decks here. Today I'm going to talk to you about a deck we built for the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. This was my final participation, and if you like what you see, please don't forget to click the subscribe button and hit that bell icon. All right guys, let's get into it. The last garden that I participated in at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show was quite the humdinger. I called it a COVI, A-C-O-V-I. It standard for a conduction of vigorous immersion. And what that meant was there was a lot of music, a lot of fire, and a lot of water. And I was, to my knowledge, I'm still the only participant of a garden at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show that's ever had live fire in their garden. It took a lot to get that approved. This was my final effort. I was starting to get a little burned out on the Flower and Garden Show. I'd only been doing it for a few years. I was going big or I was going home. So we applied for a larger space and was awarded a much larger space for our garden. This one, I wanted to theme after the Seahawks because they were really hot that year. They ended up going to the Super Bowl, but I didn't know that at the time I designed my garden. The gentleman that really approved my application, he's like, Jason, it's my last year as the manager of this show. I want you to do as much automation as you possibly can in this garden. I don't care if you win any awards. I just, for me, it's like a send-off, and I would love to see you do some of your really cool motion in the deck. And I'm like, you got it. So we designed so many cool features on this deck. Some of them are world famous and I'm known for through my social media pages. Probably the most impressive was a staircase that transformed into a ramp, and I call it a phantom staircase. I had a problem the previous year with somebody that was in a wheelchair and they were handicapped and they were really upset with me. And so he was down on the floor and I was up on the deck. So I came down the stairs and I'm like, sir, what's the problem? And he's like, I want to see your garden and I can't even get up here. You don't have a ramp or any way for me to access your deck. And he was just pissed. I'm like, okay. I said, hey, I've got 4 healthy guys right here. We'll just pick you up and you can wheel around up here and check it out. He was still mad. He's like, nope, I don't want to do it. So I looked at the guy, I'm like, okay, I tell you what, come back next year, I'll have another garden and I will have a way for you to access this deck. And he kind of rolled off and he just, I don't know if he ever came back or not, but he wasn't having it. So what I decided to do was do exactly that. I wanted a way that anybody that was limited, handicapped, couldn't mobily get up this staircase, we would change it from a stair set to a ramp, and then they could access it. We were limited on space, so it was closer to a 2 and 12 pitch, which is a little steep, but we made it work. So we did the shift changing staircase. From there you get up onto the deck and there was a sedum wall of succulents, which was really cool. And it was like a living wall that we did. And then in the floor, I did an inlay of the Seattle Seahawks logo. And then we took that logo and we automated it into a picnic table. So it started as a floor and then we hit a button and then it raised up into a table. On top of that, we had a Rockford Fosgate audio bench that was on a reverse curve. It was part of our water feature where we could play music and blast it kind of in our own space instead of blasting it out into the crowd this year. I learned a little bit from the Eddie Van Halen deck we did. And then as you go around, there was a live river that was flowing through the deck, water feature that dumped into a pond. And in the inside of the pond, so nobody could get to it, I had a fizzing column of water that came up, and then there was fire on top of it, and I called it Nebuchadnezzar. I built a fizzing water column that water bubbles came up. I lit it up blue and green for the Seahawks. It cast over the top of the column and came back down. It was a clear cylindrical tube. It was $1,000 just for this piece of acrylic. And then inside of that, we had a stainless steel pipe that went to a fire bowl that had fire blowing out the top of it. And we could adjust it. So we had compressed natural gas tanks that we were using to fuel the fire during the show. So we could regulate how high or how low the flame was. It was a lot. On top of that, we had a complete time lapse of the entire build scrolling on iPads at podiums that people could go look at and watch. And we actually had people in the garden for 30 minutes watching our time lapse of the build. Because I set up cameras in my shop, and every time I was working on this thing, it was being filmed. So DJ Studio Man put together a really sweet video. I believe it is on our channel, so you just gotta look for it. So on top of that, then we had an amazing landscaper out of Olympia, Washington come up, and she did an amazing job landscaping this entire garden. And it was just way too much work. Lots of deck board bending. Kevin Russell also provided some really great neon jellyfish and neon logs and all kinds of cool stuff in our garden. And it was a great collaboration, something really crazy. And never before had live fire been allowed into an arena. I had to talk to the fire chief and show her a safety plan. And we got nailed the first night we were there setting up. She came down and she wasn't having it. I didn't have anything done properly. She was really tough on me, and I about broke down. I was stressed out, burned out, hadn't slept. And she put her hand on my shoulder. She goes, "It's gonna be okay. Just show me how you're gonna keep this from turning into a catastrophe, and make sure you put these signs up." So my buddy Rex, he went and did a lot of this stuff that I just didn't have it in me to do. And we got it approved, and we were able to keep the fire lit the entire time during the show, which was quite a feat. We went through 10 huge tanks of compressed natural gas during that show. And Pacific Welding Supply, I really appreciate you guys helping me out with that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the visuals as well. So if you did, don't forget to click that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. Don't forget to like this video, and please leave us a comment below and let me know what you think of a COVI, a conduction and vigorous immersion. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.